Hey, folks, welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Deron Harris. I have a very special guest today on my podcast. Now, last week, if you guys tuned in, you know that I had some things to say about relationship goals and relationships and things about relationships. Well, my wife was listening to the podcast when I was doing it as she was working, and she had mentioned, she had a few comments after I had got off, and I was like, wow, that was really good. Very poignant things that she had to say. I just wish that they could have been on the podcast when I was recording, and I just decided to kind of carry over and continue, make today's podcast a continuation of last week's podcast. So today's guest on my podcast is none other than my wife, my partner in crime, Ivonne Harris. So welcome, Ivonne Harris, to the Deron Harris Podcast.
Hi, babe.
What's up, baby? What's popping?
Hey.
Cheers, girl. Ding. Let's have a quick, fast toast. So last week I was podcasting. You was checking me out from over there. I know you was checking.
I know. I was giving you that.
I thought you giving it to me, girl. So last week I was podcasting, and I was talking about a few things, and I had it was a phrase that I had that I said that my sister actually said, which was, when you're first meeting a person, you're not really meeting that person, you're meeting their representative. And you had something that you had wanted to kind of add to that.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting that you said that, because it is true, my opinion, that, sometimes you do meet that person's representative. Everything's cute at first, honeymoon phase, and then bam. That.
Yeah, you get like the real motherfucker. Like, who is this
like,
dude?
Oh shit. But with you, I didn't feel that way, because on our first date, when I arrived at your house, you had your friends over. Right. And at first I thought that was like,
like,
weird.
What the fuck, this dude has his fucking friends and his fucking
Yeah, I remember saying, hey, you know what, we can reschedule, or it can come back at a later time. And that's exactly what you said. So I was like,
nope.
Okay, cool.
Nope, no rescheduling.
It was great because you were authentic. You were yourself.
Right. Well, you got to see who I was, because like my best friends were there. So
yes, I
had to really be kind of true to myself anyway, because if I was on some other try to Mac Daddy some shit, my friend was just gonna call me out on that shit.
Well, anyway. Also facial expression says it all. I look at facial expressions. So, I was kind of looking around like, every time you said something. But I really think that people need to do that more often on first dates. I mean, I'm not saying bring your friends along, but it would be nice to bring that first date around your friends,
around some people that
some
are familiar,
people that know you, friends or family,
right.
And I just think, I mean, it was great.
It was,
honestly, I was able to get to know you.
Well, our date was, exactly. It was you really getting to know a real piece of me, not like, some dude, like you just met this dude. I'm trying to put up my my best, trying to get the pussy, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't that. It was, I wanted you to know, who I was as an actual person, not the covered up dude. Cause look at me, I look like Chewbacca. You look like a goddess,
No,
but,
you don't.
But, I wanted you to know who I was. Yeah, I actually grew this beard for you.
I know. I love it. Look at you just doing stuff for me. Well, it's love.
I wanted you to know who I was as an actual person. So, and that was very much in my head when I was talking, when I was meeting, it was what my sister said, that representative, do you want to show her yourself, or do you want to show her your representative? And for me, it was, as you can see, it was better for me to show you who I actually was, as opposed to showing you, some dude that, doesn't have mood swings, or some dude that doesn't have any kind of faults or something like that. Because everybody.
Well, no, also you weren't on that some fake good morning, good night.
Right.
You're just like, look, come over.
Right. Okay? Yeah. Come on. Yeah.
Come on over. We're going to go and have a good time. And it was a good time. We had a great first date.
Well, yeah, I mean, and that's what the goal was, is to figure out a way to connect, and that's the best thing in a relationship, is to figure out or to have a connection with somebody that you feel is genuine between the two parties,
Right.
which right off the bat, immediately we had that. I mean, we laughed
Yeah, we
hysterically.
connected. Like,
Well,
it
we
was an
laughed
8-hour
hysterically.
date.
Yeah, it was an 8-hour date. And not only did
It
you come
was.
over, not only did you come over to my friends, then we went to another friend's
We
house.
did. And I was just like, I was like, what? I was like, I'm going to be honest. At some point, I was like, listen, I'm hungry. When are you going to feed me?
Yeah.
Because that's what we do on the first date. Feed me
Yep.
and
Yep.
take me to see something nice.
Right.
Let's go explore, which you did. We ended up eating
We
pizza and
we went to a place where we had on the beach where we had a dish called sopa de mare. We had,
yeah, it was great.
and she had just come from Chicago, so I wanted to be her introduction to where we live at here in Florida. So, and I've been here for a while, so I kind of know my way around. So I wanted to show her a good time and take her to a couple of places that I thought would give us an opportunity to connect,
Right.
which it did.
Yeah, outside of everyone else, we had a minute to just
Right.
just be intimate. Just
well, it was planned. It was planned.
Right.
I really kind of my friends are here, but I didn't know they were first going. But then when they left, like I said, we had an 8-hour date.
Right.
But after they left, we still managed to be able to carry on with our date and go about our business and find that connection. So
yeah, it was nice.
Yeah, it was very nice. And there were times where I thought that I was like, well, I don't know if this is this person or if she's actually this person, or is she's gonna freak out somebody at some point, she's gonna blow up. But like I said, even though I did meet your representative was very accurate of your actual person, of the person that you were representing. So it was very, very accurate. So in that, I had it was a very pleasant experience with that. So is there anything else that you there was a few things we had talked about.
Yes, it was a few things. 1 second.
Yeah, take your time, girl. Take your time. Take your time.
All these things go through my mind.
Yeah.
Oh, you did make a good point. We don't know what to expect.
Right.
So to me, like, I just say with anything in life, just, we live with expectations, right? So what happens is I feel like I met you at the right time. I had just relocated from Chicago, I just moved here from Chicago, and I was like, I was free spirit, I came here with the hopes of just, exploring the state and meeting someone that can do that with me, that can be adventurous and spontaneous. And
met the most foolish motherfucker in Florida.
But what was cool is that I met you and it was just very authentic. It was supposed to happen. Like, I truly believe that God, he knew what he was doing. It's just okay, for 20 years, I've been talking about relocating to Florida. Right. And not only Florida, but Orlando.
Right. Well, let me ask you this. You were in Chicago for a long time, but you didn't find, I'm sure, I know you dated people there, and we've talked about some of the people that why was it not, why was Chicago not the place to find your person?
I mean,
what do you think? Why do you
several reasons, I guess, people weren't ready, just now the way I see it, I'm married to you, right? So it was just, it was never supposed to happen. It was, you meet people for a reason, but it's just for connection, people connect for some time, but it's.
Right. That's okay.
It's
we got a dog in the
background. We have a dog who's just acting crazy, but
that's all right. We do our podcast.
For the same reason.
Please stop.
Well, it's not for the same reason, because I don't, we all been in relationships, but it just doesn't, it doesn't work out. And some, you just realize that actually we were better off just as friends, and some you just don't ever want to hear from ever again, or maybe. One party wasn't ready, the other one was trying to follow their career, whatever it may have been. There's so many reasons why things didn't work out, and
why this did.
and why this did. And like I said, I was supposed to be here like 15, 20 years ago, moved
Yeah,
here. And
but
then
if you
look,
never came here, if you came here 15, 20 years ago, then
I would have never met you. And
we'd
that's
have never
why I
been here.
say I left Chicago just the happiest, you know, just the happiest person. I came here very open-minded, and I think
Right.
that's what happened. And I met you because you were the person that, I kind of, been praying. Prayer works, ladies.
Right. I heard
Pray for
that.
your man.
Tell them, girl. Tell them, girl. You let them know
He's
what they
out there.
tell them. And you know what? That's very good that you said that, because I do believe that. I do believe that there is somebody out there that fits a person like we fit. We fit. Now, not to say, we do have, some fights from time to time. We don't fight very often, but when we do fight, it's pretty moderate.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty all right.
Right.
We bang around with,
Listen, that's the representative. Actually, that's not even the representative when the fights. Well, we don't fight.
we
We
don't
just
fight.
disagree.
Right. We have disagreements. We
Disagreements
have heavy disagreements
that get a little heated.
Right. But we don't really fight like that. And the thing about it is we try not to fight like that. We try. But not I think that we have a very good relationship because we are able to communicate to each other. We can slow each other down. Sometimes it does take, every now and then we'll have a bad one, but most fights or most of our disagreements, it's, we kind of get by relatively quickly. And just to kind of, just to.
Yeah, we do. And I mean, not to cut you off, sorry.
That's okay.
We get by too, because you tend to like sometimes be like, look, listen, we need to talk.
Sometimes.
I said sorry one time without you having to.
See, but and
then speaking of that, and that's where I was going to go with that. It doesn't last long, the arguments that we have, because you kind of tend to diffuse it, just because the way you handle it is different from the way I handle it. I need like my space, and I'm going to go to the room, and I just need a minute because something triggered me,
I need a minute where I act like I don't give a shit about you.
And that's not true, because I love you. And you know this.
Yes, you were right. I do know it.
But I get it,
right.
But we try not to make it last too long, because we're wasting time. I mean, time is being wasted. Then we're mad for what?
Well, I don't think we especially when we fight, I don't think we come from a place of resentment. I think a lot of people, when they fight with each other, they come from a place of resentment. So that's why their fights either last longer or they say things. Now, there's been a few times when we say some off-color things to each other, but we try not to call each other outside of our names. We try to stick, to the topic. Every now and then we go back into crates. We dig into crates.
We do. That's that monster coming out in us. Yeah, but we be like, put it back in there.
Yeah, put it back in there.
Because you don't want that. And that's the thing. The whole purpose of being with somebody, right? It's not so that they can, so that ugly side of you comes out. That's not the purpose of a relationship. The relationship should be, we're all going to have issues, right? We all have issues, and there's going to be some disagreements, but the purpose of a relationship is not that. It's not to always be mad and arguing. It's to be happy and loving and caring and
experience great
wonderful memories. And I love that about you. That's what I love about you. You're spontaneous like I am, and you're adventurous. And
that's what I meant. We fit, we fit. Whatever happened, and like, not for nothing, not only did we fit, we got lucky because we met on a dating app. We met on Tinder. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. My opening phrase on Tinder was, "I ain't cash apping you shit." That was what I put on my Tinder profile. I put what was it? It was a sugar daddy equals dumbass, sugar baby equals lazy ass.
And I was like, what is wrong with this man? What happened to him?
Yeah. And bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, and that's what you were telling me, So I was like, wow. But to see it from a man's perspective, what you go through on those apps, I obviously, you already know most of the women. I'm not going to speak for women, but there's pervs on their side at times.
Absolutely.
Not every, obviously, you weren't a perv.
Yeah, right.
But it can get a little creepy, but
Yeah.
it depends.
Well, it gets, I
I'm the one
think,
making decisions for myself, right? So I have to filter out those
right,
people.
right,
And there was a
right,
few people that I was like, you're creepy.
right.
And you were there not being creepy. And I was like, well, look at him. I need to know the man that's not creepy. Where's he at? Knock, knock. Remember, I was like, hello, you're
Right.
taking too long to
Right.
respond.
Yeah. It was what, the last day. It was the last day she was about to unmatch me, and I sent her a message that said, "Here's my number if you want to message me off this app sometime." And she did. And the first time we talked for like 3 hours.
Yes.
And then the rest is history. I think you went home like for 1 week, and
I
then
know. And then,
stole your ass
but
from your.
what's funny is that even the same night that I met you, you kind of like warned me a little bit. You gave me a little warning, like, hey, listen, I'm not a creep, but I think I might like
Yeah.
snatch you up. And
Yeah.
I
I
was
told
like,
you.
oh, yes. Keep talking to me. Usually other people probably be like, ooh. And I was like, yeah, what else?
Yeah, that was pretty decent. That was a good night.
Yes, it was.
Called me up on some like looking for something to do. Yeah, come on by the club. I got you. Anyway, the rest is history. But yeah, I mean, people, as far as relationships are concerned, people, one thing that I do notice is people forget that relationships are exactly that. It's a way of relating to each other. People forget that, and they forget that when they first fell in love, they related to each other.
Yes.
But I listened to Anthony Robbins, and he said something very good. He said people who don't share the same nature,
Mm-hmm.
it's not to say that they won't be able to sustain a relationship, but it will be very challenging, extremely difficult to sustain a relationship with somebody that you do not share the same nature as.
That's
Like
good.
both of us share a similar nature. We're kind, we're nurturing, we're happy. Well, to a
Oh, you
degree.
think I'm kind?
I don't know. Sometimes you think every fucking body trying to set you up, everything is just set up. Who is this bitch?
I'm from Chicago. I got trust
I'm
issues.
from Brooklyn.
I mean, I
Oh
don't
yeah.
know what to tell you. Every 3 seconds when I was walking, it's like,
Everything is a setup.
yeah, everything's a setup. I didn't mean it that way, but
Girls selling
I know.
lemonade. It's a setup.
I know. I'm like, don't
She's
trust that. That's
12.
suspect.
She's
Everything's
12.
suspect.
But yeah, I mean, so I definitely want to, that's one of the reasons I started the podcast or put this segment relationship goals in the podcast, for a couple of reasons. Is to navigate past all that bullshit. I wrote, which I'm probably going to start bringing it on the podcast. I wrote those 37 lessons.
Yeah. Which are great.
I wrote
You
those
shared
37
those with
lessons.
me.
Yeah, which I really want to. I want to maybe focus in on one of those at the end of relationship. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how I'm going to.
I think they're great, and those lessons. I mean, when you read them out loud, I was like, oh yeah, I know that one and that one. And I wanted to say another thing. Now that we're talking about relationships and the types. You said a lot of people don't know the type of relationship. First, you have to figure out the type of relationship you're in.
Absolutely.
And that is really, actually, that is like the first thing,
That's
right?
paramount. That's paramount.
Because again, with you were the one that approached me. You were like, hey, I like you. And I was like, okay, yeah. I've heard that I've heard that many times. So, but in my brain, I'm like, okay, you like me, and or but. It was going to be one, and or but.
But.
Yeah, I was like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I left it like that. But you said, no, I don't think you understand me. I like you. And that right there, I knew what you were saying with, you didn't have to say anything else to me. And I was like, okay, you're saying you like me, you want to get to know me. And
I
so,
want to
get
to know you. I want to know you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I want to be able to relate to you. It was important for me.
That's where you're different.
Right. Well, that's
where you're different, because you said it, you weren't, you could have kept it going. We could have just keep seeing each other and try to figure out what it was. Or eventually I was going to be like, hey, what is this?
Right. No, I had to let you know because
but
I didn't
you let
want
me
somebody
know.
else.
Right. And that's what you said. You were like, look, you just got here and
I said,
I don't want to be in your way, but I like you. And after that, I like I got rid of Tinder. I was like, all right, you know what? Put that to the side. And if it doesn't work out, whatever, I can get back on it. But I didn't even think that way. I was just like, he likes me. He wants to get to know me. And after that statement, the only thing I can do is sit back and watch you. I mean, you said you like me, you want to get to know me. Okay, so then how are you going to show me that? And you did.
That was right.
Time is really important to me. I don't like my time being wasted.
Right.
And I don't feel like you wasted my time, at all, obviously.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. A lot of things that we did were extremely spontaneous. That like the night we walked around until 3 o'clock.
Oh my God, to 3 in the morning in the neighborhood.
Just walked around my neighborhood, walking around.
But those are things that I like. And that's what I'm saying. Like something that simple, just walking around. And we walked around and we had great conversation. I just love the conversations we have.
And see, that's the thing. And that's what I'm talking about. We relate to each other well. You know what I'm saying? We relate to each other, and not for nothing. It's very important for me to keep the relationship, like updated and fresh, and just keep the lines of that relationship open. So that's one of the reasons I do. Like I said, I do this segment on my podcast. And another reason that I actually had you come on to the podcast to explain that as well. But I think that the way that it's continuing, like I said, we laugh hysterically at least one time a day since we've met each other. At least one time a day, we laugh hysterically.
And what's crazy is that I was like, oh, when I was praying over here, I was just like. He's got to have a sense of humor. He's got to be funny. And here, at first you were like, comedian. Oh, I'm a comedian. And I was like, okay, whatever. Like,
that's what everybody says.
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
Whatever. But I can hear it in your voice when I first talked to you. I was like, oh, he's got like great voice. And then you were like, I'm a comedian. I was like, okay, where? And then you told me, I tried to stalk you. I Googled you right after I hung up.
Right.
And whatever. And then
well, thank you for making me feel special, even though it's not really a big deal.
And then I was like, all right, but that's the thing, that you're funny. This is crazy. You're funny. I'm not really crazy about comedy movies, but for some reason, when I'm with you, you'll be like, okay, let's watch this, which is another thing. You have me watching certain things that I don't really watch. Like have me all in sci-fi and doing things that I normally don't.
See, I don't watch a lot of comedy movies. You know what I mean? Because sometimes
but the ones you have me watch sometimes.
Yeah, some of the ones are good though. That's the thing. It has to be a good movie, because I'm not gonna sit here and waste 2 hours on some bullshit. I'm just not gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? I will cut the movie off in 2 seconds. But some of the movies that, like, I remember when we watched Time Bandits. Remember that?
Yes. Yeah. Oh my God, that movie was wild.
Yeah, see, good movie. But it was.
But we watched it together. We watched these crazy, freaky movies sometimes, and we'd be like, "What did we just watch?" But guess what? We enjoyed it because we just.
And the cool thing about it is we were able to sit down and watch it and talk about it.
No, you're hilarious. Yeah, watching a movie with this man is the funniest thing ever.
No. Pales in comparison to this woman right here. Yes. I do enjoy being married to you. So,
thank you. I enjoy being married to you.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And we had the most ratchet wedding too. We had a ratchet ass wedding. Well,
it was a beautiful wedding.
It wasn't ratchet. It was a very nice wedding. It was non-traditional wedding. We had a non-traditional wedding. We had a beach wedding where we just had
on a low budget too. And I don't care on a low budget, but guess what? When you see the pictures on social media, you'll be like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, thanks to our friends that helped,
we had a lot of good people that pulled it off. And that's the thing. And that's also that validates our relationship. But even in that, when we got married, there were so many more relationships that were created.
Right.
You know what I'm
saying?
Which
is what we wanted.
That's
what we want, because we have great energy. We want that energy, like, for everyone to feel it. We received a lot of feedback, good feedback about the wedding,
Right.
But that just goes to show who we are individually and when we come together.
Right. And I'll tell you what, that is very true, because we do have very unique identities separate from each other. But when you put us together, we, it's like we kind of, we complement each other extremely well. And that's the thing. I mean, we finish each other's sentences, and I know that everybody says that, and it's, it's kind of corny, but it is very true. When you find a person that you relate to on that deep level like that, things like that do happen, and things like that are precious. You know what I'm saying? So, while in my younger years, sometimes I may have done something stupid to screw something that was good up. Now that I'm older and I can realize and recognize what good things are and what blessings have been bestowed upon me.
True.
You know what I'm saying? To actually appreciate that and celebrate that and make sure that I nurture that so that it grows exponentially and nothing can break it, and that's my hope for our marriage, our relationship, our relationship, the relationship between our families, you know what I'm saying? The relationship with me and your sisters and you and my sisters and my family as well. I want all those relationships to become solid and become tight, because of that, so I want new relationships to be forged between other family members and friends, based on our relationship
and the love that we have. 'Cause that's it too. We're just full of love.
We're just full of love.
Full of love. I love you, babe.
You sound like a fucking gummy bear. I love you too.
This is what I'm talking about. This is that foolish stuff that we be on. Find you somebody too that's just.
I'm gonna tell you what. That's true.
You just let me be me. Like at first, I was like, at first people were like, "Well, I mean, does he know you're crazy?" And I'm like, "I'm not crazy.
But
everybody's got crazy in them. We're all different. It's not me being crazy. Just different."
You said it right. I had to let you be you because, like I said in the beginning of this segment, that you sell adult health and wellness toys. Which you have to go and be interactive with people about that. And once it became an official relationship, I started feeling some type of way when you started going to talk about sexual toys with other people. I was like, oh, wait a minute, you need to dial
I
that back.
know. I was like, oh no, you knew what I was doing when we met. But
I have to put in a place that this is who she was when I met her, and that she's here. You're here.
Right.
So it's just one of those things where I just kind of had to. You were about to say something? I don't know. Maybe I was.
Oh yeah, I was just like, I did tell you, when we first met, what I did. And then I also wanted you to feel comfortable that if I do go out, and network, that that's it. That's exactly what I'm doing. Just networking, I'm not out here just showering people with bullets.
Right.
And vibrators,
Also like bling.
Yeah.
Little vibrator fairy.
Yeah. No, it's not like that.
Well, thank goodness. Tell me a little bit about your podcast.
Okay, so my podcast, Intimate with Ivonne, is about empowering people to speak up and feel confident and talk about pleasurable conversations and relationships, and also embrace face their fears, not embrace their fears, but face their fears. Oftentimes fears just, hold us back from the
embrace
things we
your
want to
fears.
do.
Yeah, I'm fucking scared. It's just going to stay like that.
No, face them. Like me, listen, real quick. I faced one of my fears, right?
Right. True.
Was to move out of Chicago. That was,
right. That's
everybody thinks
big
like
deal.
It wasn't a big deal. As happy as I was to leave,
and
I also was sad.
Not only that, you left Chicago. Not only did you leave Chicago, right? But you have family in Orlando. You don't have any family where you moved to. You moved someplace completely different with your daughter.
Yes.
And tried to make your way in a town somewhere in the South where was going to make your bones here, whether or not whatever it was. But
no, I got close to the water.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. I was expecting to move to Orlando, and I ended up in St. Petersburg.
Right. So
you never know where you're going to end up. And that was one of my biggest fear. People were freaking out like, hey, you don't have a job. You're about to move in 30 days. You didn't find a place. to live. I moved here in 24 hours. I mean, I came here for an interview, and within 24 hours, I found an apartment, and I was like, okay, I know where I'm living,
Right.
but it's just, I faced it, I was just like, it was
Right.
scary, but it was worth it.
Right. Yeah.
It was worth
That
it.
makes me feel good. I'm gonna cry on my podcast. No, I'm not.
No,
But
no, he's not.
yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. I really do. I want you to feel good.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to feel good. I want to feel good myself. You know what I'm saying? I want to have a good life. And in order to do that, the relationships that you make with people, you have to examine very closely. You know what I'm saying?
True.
In order to have a good life, because you don't want to fill your life up with a bunch of people. Because I got some people in my, that, well, no longer in my life, that I'm like, man, how could I even, man, and when I look back, I'm just like, that shit is so wow that I would even go that direction. But
Right. But at that time, that's
you don't know. You have to, but
you have to go
though.
through that. Those
But
are life lessons, because you have
exactly.
to go through that sometimes, like.
Well, that's where a lot of the lessons that I wrote down, that's where a lot of them came from, is going through. And it was not just one person. It was, it was a bunch of people. And sometimes it was people that I wasn't romantically involved with.
That's what I'm saying. Friendships, all kinds of ships
that just
as
do
I
you
call
dirty. Them. Yeah. All
friendships,
kinds of ships.
friendships, relationships, because you have to be my friend, right? I mean, how can I be married to someone I just see just as my husband? No, you're also my best friend. You're my friend. If I have issues, I'm going to go to you first. And I always come to you, actually. If I have issues, if I need a hug, whatever. So I just feel like you have to build a friendship first.
Right.
When you're in this relationship that you're trying to build with somebody, should, consider them as a friend instead of running to your friends.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that. What happened, baby? It looks like you're having some technical difficulties.
My battery's low.
Okay. Yeah, we're wrapping it up anyway. So any closing remarks? Anything you want to say to anybody? Any advice you want to give? Anything you want to leave the audience with?
The one advice that I can tell people is just to be in relationship, right? It's just to be honest. Yeah. Be honest and be caring, be loving, listen. I think listening is very important.
It's
Communicating is definitely
apologize.
Yeah, that too. You must say, I'm sorry. There's this TikTok though that's going around real quick where ladies are like, hey, when you like, they're in the front of the mirror, like getting pumped, ready to apologize to their spouse. And then they show up and they're just like, yeah, you know what? You did this, you did that, this is why I'm mad. And I was like, yeah, that's me.
See,
I pumped myself to say sorry, but then
I've learned when you are apologizing to me, because you don't speak for a while, but then there'll be a sandwich that shows up.
Yeah.
And a glass of juice or da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah, it's like, here, babe. Here, are you hungry? I know that I'm really not talking to you right now, but are you hungry? Great.
That's true. Yeah, we fought on our wedding day, like the day before and our wedding day. I'm going to have an attitude. I'm going to marry you, but I'm going to.
I was a little upset. So yeah, I was just like, look, I'm going to marry you. We're going to show up, but what's going to happen is I'm going to be a little upset. He was like, okay, whatever, as long as you show up.
Just show your ass up and we won't have no problems.
And if we showed up and we shook each other's hand.
I tell you what, we stood at the car and we shook each other's hand and we stepped out onto that sand and everything changed.
Everything changed.
Everything changed.
It was great.
All the shit it was just everything we fought about was so insignificant.
It's so minute when you think about it. It's just like, what were we doing? We wasted a whole day.
And it was the devil. It was the devil saying, all right.
That's true.
It was the devil.
I believe that.
And I think it was a combination of both. Do you all really want to do this? And here we are. And yes, we did.
Like, girl, you prayed for this, man. What you going to do now? You going to walk away? And the devil's like, yeah. And God's like, nah. And I was like, no, I'm here.
That's right. My guest today has been my wife, Ivonne Torres. I am your host, Deron Harris. Thank you very much for tuning in. And anybody who is working on their relationship, I invite you to do an exercise that I heard from Anthony Robbins. Again, I'll reference Anthony Robbins. Write down your perfect mate. Write down your perfect mate, and write down your must-haves. You know what I'm saying? Now, you're not going to, write down everything that you would do with this person. Everything. Write it all
be
down.
detailed. Don't just be like sense of humor.
Absolutely.
Like, be
Exactly.
detailed about it, because some things, if you leave it out,
yeah, be detailed. You should be detailed about it. You know what I mean? Because that's how you're going to get what you want. I was detailed about what I wanted. I wrote it down, and here she is. You know what I'm saying? So everybody who's working on their relationship, try this exercise. Write the perfect mate down. And then what you do is you begin to live as that person. Try and live as that person, that perfect mate that you wrote down. Try and live as that person. Oh, it looks like you dropped out on me. It doesn't matter, but try and live as that person. Oh, it stopped recording. Oh no, it didn't. Anyway, let me go ahead and wrap it up. Try and live as that person, and those are the people that you will begin to attract if you don't have a relationship. And if you do have a relationship, if you start living as that person, the person that you are with will begin to start to try to meet your expectations. Or at least they should if you have a healthy relationship. And if they don't, then you need to kind of maybe do some soul searching. So again, thank you very much. I'm Deron Harris. And yeah, thank you very much.